You know, I feel like we should really do something to lighten it up around here. Oh, now we're talking. Don't burn the house down. What? Whoa! Ah! Hey everybody, thanks for watching another video today. It's that time of year again. Halloween's right on the corner, and then it's Christmas, Thanksgiving, and everyone's looking to put up some permanent outdoor lights. So today, we've got the latest offering from Asahom. These are their newest Asahom permanent outdoor lights, and if you watched my videos in the past, I have done a couple of installs for Asahom, but this is their latest offering, and it does come with something that's pretty unique to permanent outdoor lights. And I'll actually just save you the spoiler here, but this right here. This is a dual output power supply, which gives us the ability to locate the power in the middle of the install as opposed to being at one end. And that's pretty unique. So we'll dig more into that as we unbox this here. But without further ado, let's jump into that unboxing. Let's find out what's in the box.
What's in the box?
Okay, so a couple of apologies up front. It is very windy out here today, and they're doing a lot of road construction on the block. So I apologize for any background noise. But let's get unboxing here, shall we? So first things first, we are greeted with looks like a 5-inch ruler, which is like average and super effective for everything you'd ever need it for. There is a user manual, and then 3 boxes. I'm going to assume these are lights, and power supply. Inside the first box, yes indeed, these are some installation stickies. Looks like extra ones. These are some wire guides that we can use to install. And then we have our lights, multiple strings of lights that are able to connect or disconnect at any point. I'm not sure the exact length on the individual light strands, but obviously these are a modular design, so you can add them or you can take away from them as you need to. And then another thing that I'm not sure if it's unique to this Asahom product. I've actually never tried it, and I've never seen it advertised on any other products. But Asahom does advertise that you can cut these to fit. So if you come to the end of your strand and you don't want to use the rest of them, you can just simply cut the wire and use what you have. So that's pretty unique. 3M adhesive stickies on the back here, so you know these aren't going to go anywhere. So we've got all of our lights in there. And then in our power supply box here, this is what I'm most excited to talk about, because this has something pretty unique to it, like I was alluding to earlier. Alright, so here is a jumper cable, extension cable, so if you need to go from one level of the house to the next, you can use that. Looks like we have 2 of those. And then here is that dual output power supply. Look at that. So coming out of the power supply into the, out of the power supply here into the controller, you have 2 outputs. So where would this come in handy? Well, let me show you. So when I installed the permanent lights at my house, I had to start clear down on that end by the garage, because that's where I had to run the power from. You could only put power at the end of the string, so it was either that end or clear down there on that end, and there's no outlets over there. So I had to install it clear down there. Now in reality, I have a really nice power outlet right here by the front porch. What I would have loved to do is plug them in here and then run the wires up here and then branch out that way and branch out that way. That would have been amazing. So had I had this Asahom product when I installed my lights, I could have done that. So anyways, that is a huge selling point for these particular lights. Now I will say, we're not actually going to use the splitter today. We're installing this on my neighbor's house, and he has a power outlet on the far end. He does have one in the middle, but for where we're going to install them, the outside one or the end one actually works better. All right, so we're down at my neighbor's house. This is where we're going to be doing the installation today. He's got an amazing layout, and I will say that these guys put up the best Christmas and the best Halloween displays every year. We get cars lined up and down the block coming to see their lights. But last time I talked to him, he's like, hey, you know, if we get any more permanent lights, we should try to put those up here too. And I said, yeah, we could do that. That'll be something nice to have year round. So his house here is set up extremely well for these lights. It is a single-story house. It does have some peaks up top, which we are not going to go up to. We are just going to do a basic runaround. So let me give you a little walk around to show you how we're going to do this here. This is where the power comes in. And like I said, with the dual power inserter, it would have been perfectly acceptable to insert that by the door, like the front door. But we have an amazing spot right here where we can run right out the door, start the installation here. We're gonna run it down the side. He did go ahead and measure. We've got about 96 feet that we're gonna need out of our 100-foot kit. We're gonna run them all the way down here underneath the eaves. We're gonna come back up over here, run them out underneath the eaves over here, and then we're gonna head down the side of the house, down this way until they terminate. His measurements said that we should be able to get about halfway down this side before we run out of lights. So that's what we're gonna do, and because we're not going to a second story, it's not gonna be a terribly difficult install, but it should still be fun. So let's get up on the ladder and I'll show you how to start installing these babies. So one other thing I wanted to point out as I was going through the box here, as I spoke to earlier, you are able to cut these. So if you need to terminate at the end of a line somewhere, you can absolutely just cut these. But let's say you wanted to reattach them. Asahom does include a reattachment kit here, which gives you the ability to basically put in your 3 wires here for one string, your other side here, and then they include these weatherproof boxes. And I don't know if this shows up on film, but there is a gel inside here that is pretty sticky. And the way that this is going to work is once you reattach your wires and make your connection on both sides here, you'll sink this into here and then squeeze it closed for a completely weatherproof, waterproof connection. So this kit is 100% customizable to the needs of your house. You're able to cut and reattach with ease, and this is all included in the kit. So, all right, enough of this. Let's get up on the ladder. Hey, Editor Matt here. I just needed to jump in here and say that I skipped step 1 of the installation, which is to make sure that you have a clean and dry place to put these things to stick them to. If you don't have a nice clean and dry surface, these are not going to stick. Now, as you're about to see, my neighbor Dan did an immaculate job of cleaning his eaves before we did this install, so I didn't need to do it. But step 1, make sure it's clean and dried off before you try to put the stickers on. Now back to your regularly scheduled program. All right, so the first one we're going to install is always the most important, and here's why. Make sure you have the right connection. If you have the wrong end coming out of the beginning here, your power supply is not going to have the right connection to fit it. So make sure you have, this is the female end, make sure you've got your female end to start your run. Take your included ruler. You're going to space these babies 5 inches from the house, and that's where you're going to put your first light, okay? Now we're going to pull the red backing off the back of the light here, like so. We're going to situate this about 5 inches out. We're going to stick her up. Give it good firm pressure, and that 3M adhesive should stick pretty effectively. There are screw holes in each and every one of these, and there are a bunch of screws that come in the kit. So if you want to truly permanently install these, you can run that little screw right there and these will literally never come down. I have never had issues with these 3M adhesives coming down, but your mileage may vary. So it is a cool feature that you can do if you wanted to. So that's the first one up. Tilt it down here a little bit. Put our second one up 5 inches. Make sure, I always like to have this be nice and taut on the line here so it looks good. Measure out. Stick her up. Hard as that. It's pretty difficult installation. Third one here. And that is what we're going to do. Now, I am going to go grab some of the supports to show you what to do with those. Asahom does include a bunch of these in the kit. This is a little, I don't know what it is, solo support. Again, it's got the tape on the back. So we're just gonna peel this off and you're gonna put this anywhere that you want a little extra support for the wiring. So for me, I always put it at the beginning. I put a couple, maybe every 4 or 5 lights, and then anytime I have a junction between 2 lines, I will also put this. This is designed to just kind of take some of that weight of the cable off of the lights. So as you can see here, it just kind of tracks the light here, or the wiring here, and gives it a little extra support where you need it. So I'll put one here, right by this first light, and then I'll run one right here where our power is gonna go. That way it's a nice, firm connection against the house there. Just looks good. So every couple of lights I'll install one of those, but aside from that, I'm gonna keep on hanging lights. I'll check back in here in a bit. So we are at the end of the first run here. You can tell how nice and uniform that looks as you look down it. That's why I always use the ruler every single time, every single light. But at the end of the run, we do come to our first junction. Asahom has 100% waterproof connections here. The male and the female ends simply click together, and then you screw this piece down. You do have these end caps right here that you could either leave hanging once you install it, or you could take it off. And what I do is I like to take them off. But if you do notice, the spacing between the lights at the junction is the exact same as everywhere else down the run, which is really nice. So you can just install the junction and keep going. One of the things I do for personal preference, that if I'm installing for anybody, I give them the option, I simply cut these off until we get to the very actual end. I just don't like these things hanging off every couple feet, and I think it looks cleaner without. So we will remove that. We will install this next section here, and we're gonna keep on running down the line. I'll check back in with you here in a bit. We have officially wrapped up the installation of the light portion, running along the side here, right along the top. All the way down the side. And there is a cool little thing we kind of did here up in front of the door. We actually came right to this junction right here, to this piece of trim. The light landed right on it, so we did put one screw right through there to hold that light. But then coming around the side, it looks really nice. So then it continues on down by the window. And it terminates right here. We did put that weatherproof fitting on the end right there. And talking to Dan, the homeowner, he did say that he's gonna probably get another couple strings so he can run them down and continue around the back of the house, which you can absolutely do with this kit. So let's go put the power in, and then everything else will be done until tonight. So we do have the power right here in the garage. Dan is gonna tighten all this up once we're done here. He's gonna install kind of in the corner here, but what we're gonna do is ultimately run it right through the corner of the door here. And then we have it coming out, held with the support right there. And up it runs. Every light is working, so we are good. Inside the box, in the extension cables, this is worth noting, one of the extension cables won't actually work for the lights. So if you want to put an extension between two strands, there are two extensions, but there is a third one in the box. And I just found this out. This is a power cord extension. So this will run directly from the power box to the controller. So if you get confused because you open up the box and this one doesn't fit, that's why. So when we're looking through the app, you can obviously see that we're on the main screen here. We've got our permanent lights on the main splash screen. You can go back if you have other Asahom devices, you can add them in here, but we're gonna go right into our permanent lights. And from here, we can adjust our brightness. The thing I really like about these lights is that you can get really, really advanced, or you can keep it really, really simple. You can adjust the zones individually if you'd like. I'm not gonna even mess with that right now. But here's what I like to look at. These are the presets. Now, Asahom includes a ton of different presets in here for anything that you're gonna do, or any time of year. So we've got the Halloween C right now, which is the purple and the orange kind of flickering back and forth, but it has every holiday colored in here. Some Christmas. St. Patrick's Day. Independence Day. That is neat. Super Bowl party. Of course, who knows who's playing. Carnival. Okay. Valentine's Day. Fireworks. Some fireworks going off. That's cool. Baby shower, because who doesn't need to put their lights on for a baby shower? And then if you don't want to do festivals, you can do just natural lighting. So if you want a sunset, or maybe a sunrise. a rainbow. That's really nice. Nebula. So the sky truly is the limit on the presets here. Once you start the lights up, you can obviously turn the timer on up top here. You can set the countdown if you want these things to run for a couple hours. You can do that. You can set it for an hour here and confirm it. And then they'll shut off in 60 minutes. We're not gonna do that right now though. One other really cool feature they have on here is AI integration. Now the AI integration allows you to upload a photo, or you can basically just tell the app what you want it to do. So I'm going to say I want red and green chasing. I'm going to hit go. And the AI is going to think about what that looks like, and it's going to say, I recommend a vibrant chase lighting effect, where the trail of crimson dances with an emerald partner, creating a captivating spectacle of red and green in motion. I say, okay, because that sounds wonderful, and then it gives you a little idea of what that looks like. And it says, okay, I've created it. Would you like to use it? Hit use. And bada bing. There it is. Now, obviously, you can go in and customize this once it creates your AI effect, but you can also upload a photo if you want it to match. So the AI integration, sky truly is the limit. So overall, I am extremely happy with how these permanent lights turned out. This is probably the best wall wash pattern that I've seen of light, of any of them that I've installed between any of the other manufacturers and Asahom. The color of the lights is phenomenal. They're very clear, very bright. The wall wash effect is amazing. Obviously, using the included ruler, we were able to space these lights out perfectly. And because we were able to get the spacing right, you can tell that there's a uniform mounting effect on each one of the lights. And that's what you're going for. If you don't install them the same length or away from the wall, then you don't have that uniform effect. So coming all the way around. With the bay window, we also kept it uniform around the bay window so that you have the same splash effect the entire way around. And with the rest of their ornaments and lights up here, it's going to be a really cool scene. Very excited about them so far. So that's it for this video, folks. If you'd like to get yourself a set of these Asahom lights, I will leave a link in the description to the video below. They are on sale right now, and I think you might be shocked when you see how cheap they are, because they're usually about 230 bucks, I believe, on sale as of right now. I believe they're around 160 to 170 on Amazon. So definitely get a hold of these. You will not be disappointed. The app is amazing. The lights are amazing. The installation is quick and easy. This is truly the best set of outdoor lights that I've done. So grab a copy or grab a pair for yourself and hang them up and enjoy them. If you have any questions, all my contact information is in the description to this video as well. And until next time, take it easy.